Welcome back, everybody. Joe Everest, the fence expert, and I've got with me Caleb Roth of Stain and Seal Experts. Today, we're going to talk to you about the top 5 reasons you should choose an oil-based sealant over a water-based sealant. All right, so Caleb, what is the first reason someone would choose an oil-based stain over a water-based stain?
Well, Joe, what we specialize in is penetrating oil-based stains. And I think the number one reason people look to this type of product is ease of use. There's nothing on the market that's easier to use than a penetrating oil-based stain.
Sure. Now, penetrating meaning that the board really just soaks all the stain up.
Yeah, so the stain goes into the wood and not on the wood. It penetrates. That means there's no lap marks, there's no runs, there's no drip marks. It's self-leveling, things like that.
I really remember that was one of my first impressions is you said, all right, when you spray it on, flood coat it. So make sure you get enough product on the board, but don't freak out because it will self-level. And it did. It looked runny, and I was like, Caleb, I really messed this up.
It's a liquid, so when it goes on the fence, it's going to run down, but that just soaks right into the wood, and it makes a beautiful finish without any back brushing at all.
That's right. 5 minutes later, it's a nice, smooth finish, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, ease of use.
Very good. So, Caleb, what would the second reason be someone would choose an oil-based over a water-based stain?
Well, it's probably going to be the cleanup. There's not much on the market that's easier to clean up than a penetrating oil base because it's non-drying. So if it gets on a non-porous surface like a car or vinyl siding, an air conditioner, windows, you just take a rag and wipe it right off, and that's hard to beat.
You bet, you bet. And one of the tips you had given me when we started learning how to stain would be to wet down surfaces with like a soapy, watery mix before you even start staining.
Yeah, so oil and water don't mix. So if there's a porous surface, we can't wipe it off of a porous surface because it wants to penetrate into that. So you just wet those surfaces down, brick, concrete, aggregate, stucco, things like that, other masonry. You wet them down, and if it's hot, summertime, you can use a surfactant like a soap or a degreaser to keep things wet. When the stain lands on it, it just sits right on top, and you can clean it up, wash it away later.
I was really impressed when I saw this in action. We had, and you'd mentioned it, we had pre-wet down an air conditioner unit. Sure enough, a gust of wind or something had picked up a little bit of the stain, and you see little droplets all over. Well, Caleb told me I can just wipe it off. Sure enough, wiped clean off.
Yeah.
It was literally one wipe, and it was gone.
Yeah, ease of cleanup, man. I'm telling you, it really is.
Nice. All right, Caleb, so what would be the number 3 reason someone would choose a oil-based over a water-based stain?
It preserves the wood. There's not much out there that will preserve a piece of wood more than a penetrating oil-based stain. It's kind of like putting a conditioner on leather. If it's cracked up or even if it's new, you want to put a conditioner on there because it's going to dive deep down into the wood. It's going to keep things soft and supple, and it's going to, prevent UV damage. That's it. It's preservation.
That makes sense, yeah, because, that would be why you would oil a nice pair of boots would be, one, to moisturize, and then also to protect. You really want to keep them, the leather itself dry, and you want to prevent it from cracking. So really, a penetrating oil stain such as yours would do the same thing for a fence board or a deck board.
Absolutely.
All right, what is the 4th reason someone would choose an oil-based over a water-based stain?
Well, it's never going to peel, crack, or chip, so you're going to get a long life out of it. It's never going to peel up, crack off, things like that.
Okay, yeah, so we've all seen, or at least I've seen, growing up as a kid, primarily in decks, you'd see a deck that looked like just the surface had been cracking or splitting. That was likely an oil-based or a water-based stain that just wasn't performing properly.
Yeah, so water-based stains tend to sit on the surface of wood. And those coatings can be very strong and powerful like a paint, but when we're in an outdoor environment, things move. Nothing's constant like inside the home.
Sure.
So if the product usually fails because it rips or tears or breaks, and once that happens, moisture can get under there and it can do a lot of damage. And another thing for decking, if you coat the top, moisture can come up from the bottom and cause a delamination. And things like that are really what lead to the product failures. And so the penetrating oil-based stains, they never do that. They never peel, crack, or chip. So therefore, you get a long life. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. All right, Caleb, what is the 5th reason someone would choose the oil-based over a water-based stain?
Well, I'll go back to the 4th reason.
Okay.
Peel, crack, and chip. So ease of maintenance. The 5th reason is ease of maintenance. Because they don't peel, crack, or chip, the maintenance is a breeze. About once a year, you need to wash your deck and fence. And every 3 or 4 years, you want to do a maintenance coat, and you just add another coat right down on top of it. You don't have to sand it off. You don't have to strip it. You don't have to make a mess with harsh chemicals. You don't have to sand and breathe terrible dust. You just add another coat. And if you wait too long, the process is the same. You just add another coat.
You mean if I accidentally forget that it needs restained by about a year or so, I'm not just completely messing up the process?
Exactly right. And if you try that with a water base, you're going to be out there stripping, sanding, doing things like that.
Gotcha. And to bring it back to our boot analogy, you do need to keep the boots clean, and then every so often they do need that oil reapplied to keep them moisturizing, lest they crack and split.
Yep, exactly.
All right, Caleb, our viewers have made it to the end of the video. Can we talk you into giving us a bonus tip, a sixth reason why you would choose an oil-based stain over a water-based stain?
Joe, because it looks good. It looks good. Everybody knows, we already know we need to seal our wood. We know we need to preserve it. We know we need to do these things to take care of stuff. But really, at the end of the day, there's no more bigger thing or wow factor than when we stain and seal it, because it looks so darn good.
Well, that's right. And that's mainly because of the ease of use, and the limited or the easier maintenance requirements make it easier to keep the fence looking great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Well, Caleb, I appreciate you having me out and viewing the Stain Seal Experts facility again. Guys, for now, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, and I'm reminding you that good fences make good neighbors.